Hello and welcome to this video. You need to register onto your programme when you first join the university, and you'll also need to re-register each year. The registration process is split into two stages, Stage 1 and Stage 2, and both stages need to be completed. We've created this video to help you navigate through Stage 1 of the registration process, whether you're a new student or a returning student. From mid-August, you should look out for a Stage 1 registration email sent by the university. If you haven't received the Stage 1 email by the first week of September, there's a couple of things you can do. If you're a new student joining UH for the first time, make sure that you've set up your online account. If your online account hasn't been set up first, you won't get the Stage 1 registration email or be able to access your student record. Go back through any emails previously sent to you from UH and look for an email called Login Account Setup. If you think you've set up your login account successfully, or you already have a username and password from previous study, check your junk or spam email folders for the Stage 1 registration email. If you still can't see the Stage 1 registration email, please contact the Ask Hearts team for further advice by emailing ask@hearts.ac.uk. Don't forget to include your ID number in any correspondence. To begin Stage 1 registration, you'll need to have your UH username and password handy. You then need to log in to your student record at www.studentrecord.hearts.ac.uk, or you can use the link contained in your Stage 1 registration email. Here we have the login screen record, which we got to by typing www.studentrecord.hearts.ac.uk into the browser. Just enter your username and password and click Sign In. If you're a returning student and you can't remember your login details from last year, please visit this web link to either reset your password or retrieve your username. Once you're logged into your student record, you'll automatically be taken to an updates page. If you're not automatically directed to this page, please contact ask@hearts.ac.uk. You'll find the Stage 1 registration link under Services at the bottom. Click on this to begin. All of the information on this course information page is automatically populated from your record. Don't worry if your course start and end date don't look quite exact, but do check your course title. And if anything looks incorrect with your course title, please stop Stage 1 at this point and contact ask@hearts.ac.uk for help. If your course title looks correct, click Next to move on to the next screen. From this screen onwards, you'll notice a Save and Exit option at the bottom of each screen. If you're not able to fully complete Stage 1 at this point, choose this option. Any information you've already entered will be saved and displayed on your screen when you next log back in. On this screen, you'll need to provide current address details. Make sure that you provide full address details, including any postcodes. If you're a returning student, please recheck your addresses, as you may have moved since you last completed Stage 1 registration. Let's go through each of the address sections to help you understand what you need to add. Home address. This is usually where you live outside of term time. For international students, this will be your overseas address. The postcode lookup only works for UK addresses. So for overseas postcodes or zip codes, leave the postcode field blank and instead add your postcode or zip code into one of the address fields. If you're selecting the United Kingdom as your country, please make sure you're specifying whether this is England, Northern Ireland, Scotland or Wales. Term address. This is where you're living while you're studying with us. If you're studying on campus, this will be a UK address. If you're living in university accommodation, your full address will be included in the accommodation emails that we've sent you, and you'll also find it on your UH boarding pass. If you're in halls, make sure that you provide both your flat number and your room number. If your term time address is the same as your home address, you can simply tick Same as Home. Mailing address. This is the address that the university will use when we send you any important letters. We recommend that your mailing address matches your term time address. To do this, tick the box next to Same as Term Address. This also ensures that if you change your term time address in the future, your mailing address is updated at the same time. Work address. This is not mandatory to complete. However, if you're studying a course directly linked to an employer, for example, a degree apprenticeship, please complete this. When you've finished, you can either click Save and Exit to come back or Next to move on. On this emergency contact screen, please enter the details of someone we can contact if there's an emergency. Your emergency contact can be a family member or a friend. They can be based in the UK or overseas, and you can have more than one emergency contact. The most important thing is that we're able to get in touch with them about you in an emergency. Once you've entered in your emergency contact details, select Add. You can select Add New to add more than one emergency contact. Click Next to move on to the next screen, or Save and Exit to return at another time. The information entered here is provided to the Higher Education Statistics Agency, also known as HESA. This means that all of these questions on the screen are mandatory, and you must provide an answer to each of them before you can move on to the next screen. If you're a returning student, your circumstances may have changed from last year, so check any pre-populated information and amend anything that has changed. If you're not sure what the question is asking you, help text is available at the beginning of each underlined question. But here's some information about each question to help you as well. Disability. Disabilities may include medical conditions which may not be visible, such as diabetes. When you disclose a disability to the university, it allows us to provide any additional support available to you during your studies. If you'd prefer not to declare a disability, you should select No Known Disability from the drop-down list. You can always change your mind about this at any point during your studies. Disability allowance. If you've indicated in the previous disability question that you have no disability, please select 5. Domicile. From the drop-down list, please choose the country you normally live in prior to starting university. If you live in the United Kingdom, please make sure that you specify which area of the UK you live in: England, Northern Ireland, Wales, or Scotland. Ethnicity. Please indicate here how you would best describe your ethnic origin. Remember, your ethnicity may be different to your nationality. You also have the option to choose information refused from the drop-down list. Last institution attended. From the drop-down list, please select where you last studied before starting university. Parental education. Please indicate here if your parents have attended university, either in the UK or overseas. If you're not sure, just select Don't Know from the drop-down list. Highest qualification. Here, we need to know what the highest qualification is that you currently hold. For example, if you've just finished studying your A-levels and you're now starting an undergraduate degree, you'd usually select P50. For international students starting an undergraduate degree with us, you may wish to select P80. Who is paying your fees? In most cases, home students starting an undergraduate degree either select 02, which is Student Finance England, or 01, which is self-funding, including parental funding. Term time accommodation. Choose the option which best describes your living situation while studying. If you're living in university campus accommodation, please select 1 from the drop-down list. Term time postcode. This should already be pre-populated from the previous address screen. If it's not, just enter the postcode of where you're staying in the UK while studying. Religion or belief. If you prefer not to answer this question, you have the option of selecting information refused. You can also do the same for the sexual orientation and gender identity questions below. The purpose of these questions is to help HESA make sure that all students are treated fairly. The data you provide is confidential and will not be used to identify individuals, so we'd encourage you to answer each question as fully as possible. When you've completed all of the questions on this page, click Next to move on to the next screen, or save and exit to return at another time. For students studying a degree apprenticeship, the next screen you'll come to is an ILR screen, which stands for Individualised Learner Record. For all other students not on degree apprenticeship programmes, the next screen you'll come to is the career registration page. You may therefore wish to skip this section and resume viewing when we get to the career registration page. Going back to those students who are on degree apprenticeships, you'll notice that the first question you need to complete is about your ethnicity. You've already answered this question as part of the HESA page, but because the questions on this page are returned to a different external body, the Education and Skills Funding Agency, you may notice some duplication of questions on this screen. This time around, for the ethnicity question, there isn't an option to select information refused from the drop-down list. Your unique learner number is a 10-digit number which you may have seen referred to as a ULN. You'll find your unique learner number on your award certificates or result slips from previous learning providers. The unique learner number shouldn't be confused with your UHID number. For questions that have an Add button at the end, this means that you have the option of adding more than one answer to these questions. For example, you may have more than one learning difficulty which you need to add. If you add something in error, just click on the green symbol to remove it. For the privacy notice question, you'll need to add your preference for each method of communication. For example, if you're happy to be contacted by phone and email, you'll need to add both of these individually. Again, if you add something in error, just click on the green symbol to remove it. You'll also notice that when you select yes or no for some of the questions, this brings up extra subsets of questions. Remember to check that you've answered all of the mandatory questions. Anything marked with an asterisk must be completed. When you're ready, click Next to move on, or save and exit to return at another time. This page contains some questions about career registration, and they're to help us establish what stage you're at in your career planning in order to offer you targeted support with your career plans. Don't worry if you're not exactly sure what your career plans are yet. You can explore your options further on during your studies. When you're ready, select Next. The University of Hertfordshire is proud to support students from many different backgrounds. To help us provide you with the right support during your time at university, this section contains questions about your personal circumstances, such as whether you're leaving care, or maybe you're the first member of your family to go to university. Please only answer these questions if they apply to you, and we'd encourage you to answer any questions to the best of your ability to allow us to offer you specific targeted support with your studies. Select Next when you're ready to move on. You're almost at the end. As part of Stage 1 registration, new students are asked to upload a photograph of themselves. This photograph will be used on your student ID card and on your student record, so it's important that you upload a suitable image. Here's some tips on which images are acceptable. It should be a recent, clear photo of you, and the image must be in colour and taken against a light background. The image must show you facing forward, looking straight at the camera. It also needs to be a close-up of your head and shoulders. Make sure that the top of your head is visible as well. The image can't show you medical reasons. This is permitted. Make sure that your hair isn't covering your face. The image has to be an image of only you. If you're using a webcam, make sure that you're not standing too close to the camera or too far away. But if you have difficulties in uploading an image, please don't worry. You can always visit Ask Herts Hutton on campus to have your photo taken. Once your photograph has been uploaded, you'll be redirected back to a summary page. This page shows a summary of all the information you've provided in the previous screens. Check everything carefully. If you need to go back and correct anything, select Previous to take back to the other screens. At the bottom of the page, you'll notice there's a link to the university's terms and conditions. Please take some time to read through these. Once you've read them and you're happy to proceed, please tick the box to confirm that you agree to the terms and conditions. To complete stage 1, select the Submit button. You should now receive an email to confirm that you've completed stage 1 of registration. Congratulations, you're halfway there. You now need to read that stage 1 confirmation email, as this will provide details of how to complete stage 2 of your registration. We look forward to welcoming you to the University of Hertfordshire, and we wish you every success in your studies.